What's good? Santi with another video. This will be part 3 of semen retention and the authentic self. And so the focal point of these last few videos has been in regards to relationships and the authentic self. And I just wanted to focus on the situation because of, I would say, a relationship, like being in a relationship and having that first quote unquote heartbreak can really put life in perspective for you and make you aware of establishing boundaries and honoring and respecting who you are. You feel me? Because I've seen, from my own experience and then the experiences of others, I've seen them as a man, seeing how men, around me pretty much put themselves in a position to certain choices that you make when it comes to your significant other and like going through a breakup. When it comes to like a breakup, you have to do the opposite of what your desires are. Like you have to step back and kind of go back within, And so with the situation that happened with my brother is that, girl breaks up with him. Like I said, girl breaks up with him. So he's doing all these things to try to get her back, which is actually creating the opposite effect, And when you go through a breakup, it's requiring you, in order to grow and evolve, it's requiring you to reassess things and look back at situations that may have been red flags or pointers that, hey, you're deviating from yourself. You're deviating from yourself, your authentic self, and certain behaviors are indicating that in this particular relationship, it can be problematic. It can take you down a course of pretty much, it can take you down the path of ultimately self-destruction and some experiences that will require you to make different choices and to be more aware, and a lot of us, as I probably pointed out in different videos, we don't have a lot of guidance in terms of what you're supposed to look for in a partner. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're supposed to look for in a partner, how you're supposed to go about a relationship, you know what I'm saying? Understanding a balance and that they go through cycles and making sure that you don't lose yourself in that relationship. And so, when a breakup happens, people will find themselves trying so hard to get back with that person, doing all these things to try to get their validation back when they don't realize that their mere act alone is deviating from the authentic self. Like, I don't care how valuable a person is to you. No one is worth chasing. No one is worth chasing because that's not who you are authentically. When a breakup happens, a lot of people who find themselves on the receiving end of the breakup make choices and decisions out of fear, out of lack, out of need, out of being in the state of deprivation. You know what I'm saying? Like you already have everything you need, you're already complete. But because you've spent so much of your time invested in making this person your focus, that you no longer focus on yourself, you started to negate your needs. If you ever find yourself going through a breakup and you feel like something missing, it's not them, it's you. And it's not as if that part that's deemed missing is somewhere out there for you to find. It's still inside of you. It's a part of yourself that you're having to come to realize and understand again. And you can go through a breakup and be so consumed with a person. You go through a breakup and you're so consumed with trying to get them back. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get back what was, when what was is no longer there. Those feelings that you created in that moment, they may still be there. Of course, you're going to miss that person. Of course, you got to go through that process of mourning and honoring the end of your relationship. But a lot of people don't do that. We spend our time trying to fight the pain, trying to ignore it, and go back to that place of security, which is ultimately going to make the pain grow and make it even more worse. And even if you do get that person back, if you haven't taken the time to look at what went wrong, where you may have misstepped and being kind of just out of yourself, or where that person may have, not been good for you, where they may have been disrespectful, where they weren't honest and respectful towards or they weren't being considerate of your needs, because think about it, a lot of breakups end up happening, and this is just a scenario, but you got two people that have spent so much time together and become so invested in one another that there's a sense of complacency that comes about, and one or two parties, one or both, ends up wanting to go somewhere else. Like the feelings may no longer be there. You know what I'm saying? Or you and that person may not be. You may be on different paths. You may be called to go other ways, go your separate ways, and and have opposite journeys. But someone to end up breaking up with the other person, and so when you have that. When you have that happen, it can be difficult to get back to yourself, because now it's like, dang, I built a life around this person. I've gotten so used to them being there. Like, you're gonna feel an absence. You're gonna feel a void. But all the while, when you come towards gaining that wisdom and awareness, you realize, dang, that missing person, that missing piece was me. Because you probably was in a good space prior to getting in a relationship with that person that ultimately drew you in, or attracted that person. You know what I'm saying? And now, because of the change in the dynamics, that you probably strayed away from that person that you were, and now you've become so consumed with your partner that you start neglecting your own needs. And so when that happens, the universe, because the balance is off, the universe is going to reflect where you're at. When that balance is off, then the shift changes. Then there's a shift, and then you're called back. Even though it may be painful, you're being called back to yourself. So instead of trying so hard to get that person back, it's like, damn, I need to put myself first again. Honestly. And this is something that everybody can learn from. When a breakup happens, the last thing you want to do is fight it. The last thing you want to do is fight it. Because everything that you think that you need to do to prove yourself, to get that person to feel a certain way about you, it's not going to create what you want. It's not going to really get you what you want, because you're going to be forcing something. You're going to be acting out of character. You're going to be doing things irrationally, and ultimately that's just going to create more of a repulsion, and you're going to be lesser and less attractive to that person. So then they're going to start to devalue you because of the energy you're putting out, and they're just going to start. What are they going to start doing? They're going to start treating you like shit, because now you're reaffirming why they broke up with you in the first place, because it's clearly shown. They know what your intentions are. They know what you want. And because you're doing all of these emotionally, irrational acts to get it, it's like they realize they got all the power, so they can do whatever they want to do, because they know you're gonna be there. And then people end up looking foolish, stalking them, going by their apartment, overly looking at their social media, texting them and calling them all the time. I've done that. I did that before. You know what I'm saying? That was years ago. You feel me? But I understood that. I got to a point I was like, damn, that's not me. Like, I stopped doing that shit. I sat down one night and came into awareness of shit, and I was like, damn, that's not me. Like the authentic self. Like, who are you? Like, if you could ever do this, where you get in a relationship, you always make that time for yourself. Always make that time to get back to yourself and do those things that regenerate your spirit and keep you aligned with yourself. Do things on your own. Spend time to yourself. Go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Go out to the mall. You know what I'm saying? Get out in nature. Read, study. Just because you're in a relationship doesn't mean that you got to be all up under that person. Because when we're younger, that's what we think. We don't have any type of understanding and awareness of that arena. And so the authentic self, when you're authentic, you know who you are. You understand your limitations. You know what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate. You speak when you need to speak. You act when you need to act. You trust yourself. You know when to be receptive. You know when to be guarded. You know when to step forward. You know when to step back. And that balance gets neglected and taken for granted when you get in a relationship. And so if you think about it, that's why a lot of divorces be happening. Because people start to change. You know what I'm saying? As much as we're social creatures, we also have to have that time to ourselves to be in our own space, to be one with ourselves. You know? And it's like I've seen so many relationships around me, and it's like it's so much information to process, it's so much knowledge and wisdom. But see, the knowledge comes from your own wisdom because you're able to process information and see it for yourself. And when you look at it, when you look at situations, you look at the energy, you feel that energy, you go into your mind and you understand from within. So that's all I wanted to really say in this video, man. I'm gonna talk more about just the authentic self and just relationships and what you do not do. Because one thing is like, if a woman breaks up with you, and whether or not you be a woman and a guy breaks up with you, don't fight it. Just be like, okay, and you sit back and you focus on yourself. Don't worry about who they're talking to. You know what I'm saying? Don't make them a priority. Take all the attention that you were giving to them and put it back into you. Building yourself up, getting back in that abundant state, loving yourself, mourn and honor the end of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? If it's going to mean something to you, and you're going to have those periods where you go back and you think about it and you reflect and you hold on to those moments, and you're going to miss those moments. But if you keep going through the process and letting your emotions, just feeling your emotions and not being so quick to act on them, and keeping yourself balanced and keeping yourself in check, you'll come out on top in the end. And because that same frame of mind is the same frame of mind that you utilize when you practice a semen retention, and that frame of mind is also what leads to your success and you manifesting the life that you desire, because you have control and you governing yourself. That's the power. In all these relationships, it's all about governing yourself. That's the most powerful thing you do, is just govern yourself. Because the world will adjust to that if you stay your ground and you're knowing. You feel me? So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll holler back at you guys. Love, salute.